Stay safe. Stay curious. This is Nightmare Stories. Elevators. What happens when the elevator itself becomes the very source of your nightmares? From being stuck between floors to eerie encounters you never saw coming. Today, we delve into 5 true stories of elevator glitches that will haunt you long after you've reached your floor. So sit back and get ready to be unnerved. Let's begin. Story 1. Unwanted Companion. It was late, around 11 p.m., and Laura had just finished a tiring day at work. She lived in an apartment building with an old elevator, one that would groan and wheeze as it ascended or descended. That night, as she stepped into the elevator, she pressed the button for her floor and waited. The elevator began its usual journey, but then it stopped. Laura pressed the buttons, frantically trying to get it to move. Nothing. Just when she was about to press the emergency button, the lights flickered and she heard a whisper coming from the far corner of the elevator, a corner that was empty just a moment ago. "Why are you here?" the voice asked. Laura's heart was pounding so loud she was sure whoever or whatever was in the elevator could hear it. She never used that elevator again, opting for the stairs no matter how tired she was. Story 2. Missing Floors. Jake was in a rush to get to an important meeting. He was already running late and didn't have time to spare. As he got into the elevator of his office building, he pressed the button for the 23rd floor. The elevator obediently started its ascent, but then it skipped the floor. The digital indicator showed it was now going to the 30th floor. Confused and slightly annoyed, Jake waited for the elevator to reach the 30th floor so he could take it back down. But when the doors opened, he found himself in an entirely different building, one that looked abandoned and dilapidated. He took the stairs down and exited, only to realize he was in a completely different part of the city. To this day, he avoids that particular elevator at all costs. Story 3. Midnight Rider. Sarah was no stranger to working late hours, but one particular night as she finally wrapped up her work, she found herself alone in the office building. She called for the elevator and waited. When the doors finally slid open, she saw a man inside standing at the back, facing away from her. Not wanting to be rude, she stepped in and pressed the button for the ground floor. The elevator began to move. Sarah felt uneasy. The man hadn't turned around or even acknowledged her presence. As the elevator reached the ground floor, the doors opened and the man was gone, vanished. There was no other way he could have left the elevator without her noticing. Sarah never stayed late at work again. Story 4. The Elevator to Nowhere. Brian had heard rumors about an elevator in his university building that was said to be haunted. Being a skeptic, he thought it was all nonsense. One evening, while studying late in the library, he decided to take that particular elevator just to prove to himself that there was nothing to be afraid of. He got in, pressed the button for the ground floor, and waited. Instead of descending, the elevator started going up. Confused, Brian pressed the emergency button, but it was unresponsive. Finally, the elevator stopped and the doors opened to a pitch-black hallway. Brian felt a cold breeze and heard footsteps approaching. He quickly pressed the button for the library floor, and thankfully, the elevator responded. He never doubted the rumors again and always took the stairs after that incident. Story 5. Silent Observer. Emily was visiting her friend who lived in a high-rise building. They had a great time catching up, and before she knew it, it was time to leave. She got into the elevator, pressed the button for the lobby, and stood waiting. As the elevator began its descent, She suddenly felt like she was being watched. She turned around and, to her horror, saw a figure standing behind the grating above the elevator. There was someone, or something, in the elevator shaft, silently observing her. Emily couldn't press the ground floor button fast enough. She left the building as quickly as she could and never returned. So the next time you find yourself alone in an elevator, don't be too quick to think you're actually alone. Those brief moments between floors might just turn out to be the longest seconds of your life. Thank you for joining us on this unnerving journey. If you have stories of your own, feel free to share them in the comments below. And as always, remember to like, share, and subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open.